Welcome to the third edition of the String Bros Sports Talk Show here on the Simulated Sports Network. And before we get started, I just want to give a shout out to Outpost 31, a horror podcast show. Very good. What it is three lifelong friends talking about life and horror movies. You can catch them on any pretty much platform for podcasts. Buzzsprout, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, any of those. Be sure to check them out. This show is also sponsored by Hank's Genuine Gourmet Root Beer. Handcrafted in Philadelphia. Zane made this. Anyway, as we kick off our show today, Dak Prescott signed a ginormous contract with the Dallas Cowboys. They extended him. They did not go the route of franchise tagging. We'll go straight to you, Kyle.
I don't think the Dak Prescott deal was worth it because it's $40 million a year for 4 years, and it's second compared to only Patrick Mahomes. I don't think he's shown the workload and the efficiency to win like Patrick Mahomes has to be able to say he's the second highest paid quarterback in the league. When you look at it, he's played 3 playoff games. He's only won 1. The last time they went to the playoffs was 2018, and I believe they lost in the divisional round. So, I mean, where's the proof in the pudding for him to be able to make this much money and make it make sense?
I agree.
And you don't know how he's going to come back from the injury and everything. You don't know how all that's going to work. I mean, I really don't see how he's worth that much money right now. They've been so hesitant to give him money. And then all of a sudden they give him all this money. What is Lamar Jackson's contract going to look like when they come together on that?
Yeah. Guys like Joe Burrow, you just wonder down the line. Now, I do think Dak deserved a big contract, but not that big of a contract. I do think he's a good quarterback, but I don't know if I put him in that tier of Patrick Mahomes.
Well, I even said last week on the show that I thought Russell Wilson would make sense to go to Dallas because I said, and even though I know Ryan disagreed with me pretty harshly, that Dak Prescott is a poor man's Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson isn't even making that kind of money. He's close, but he's not making that kind of money like Dak is. But Russell Wilson has also shown that he's capable of more things than what Dak has shown he's capable of.
What this comes down to is win me playoff games, and that contract matters. If you don't win, well, it matters in a bad way.
I mean, that could be maybe why they only signed him to a 4-year deal, but it's still a lot of money up front for... I mean, you don't know what you're getting. You don't know if he's going to come back and he's going to be different, play more hesitant because of that leg injury. Maybe he doesn't run as much. You don't know. You don't know what you're going to get. It's a mystery.
And with that, well, actually, what do you see this year with the Cowboys?
If they can get their offensive line healthy, and they do have one of the better offensive lines in the league, so I can see them playing pretty well on offense. I think the defense is going to have to step up a little bit, especially the secondary. But, I mean, I could definitely see them making it into the playoffs. I'm not going to say that I think they're a horrible team or anything. It's just Dak has to show me a little bit more than what he has been, even though you kind of write off this last year. He was having a pretty good year before he got hurt. But
Right. Well, let's jump into our next topic, NFL free agency. A lot of players were franchise tagged. We're going to go over some of those players that were not and where we think they're going to go to. Let's kick off it with Super Bowl winner Shaq Barrett of the Tampa Bay Bucks. They did not franchise tag him. They did franchise tag Chris Godwin. Where do you think Shaq Barrett goes?
Well, from what I'm hearing is Tampa Bay's really still trying to re-sign him before you can hit free agency. I do think Tampa Bay will be able to come together with him there because I do think Shaq Barrett probably knows that as long as Brady's there, he's got good odds at solidifying his legacy as a linebacker for a team that's going to win a couple Super Bowls or has the chance to.
They're in that situation where they've got to pick and choose who they're going to get rid of. They're probably to re-sign guys like Barrett and Levante David. They're probably going to have to cut ties with guys like Ndamukong Suh, unless Suh takes like a veteran's minimum or something, but. Which at this point he's made so much money, he probably may just ride a minimum and just ride Super Bowls out.
Yeah, because, I mean, you've seen it in the NBA. Veterans that are actually pretty well off money-wise, they'll take less money just to go to a team so they can win championships. So, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Sue did the same thing.
Yeah, so I've got Barrett going back as well. I think he even takes a discount if he has to. Excuse me, I don't know why my voice did that. To stay there. We'll go on to Trent Williams of the San Francisco, formerly of the San Francisco 49ers and Washington football team. Definitely one of the top offensive linemen in this class. I've got him going to the Indianapolis Colts. All rumors point to Indianapolis.
Yeah, I see them getting a good new toy for Carson Wentz coming to Indianapolis. I think that Indianapolis goes with Trent Williams as a big signing to anchor down that offensive line.
And let's skip some of these names and jump to Kenny Golladay, who kind of surprised he wasn't franchise tagged. I thought the Lions might franchise tag him and then, work on the contract over the year, but it was all reported that he wanted more than $18 million at 28 years old, which is not old. Not old at all. I'm 31. That's not old. He's 28, but he's been injured the last 2 years on and off. It was probably best for both parties to part ways, as the Lions are going in a different direction in rebuilding. I'm going with Kenny Golladay to the New York Giants. All dots point to the Giants.
I actually think he's going to end up with the Miami Dolphins. I think he's going to end up in Florida. I think he's going to end up down there probably with Tua or maybe even Deshaun if that trade works out, which would actually give the Miami Dolphins a phenomenal offense, which would be crazy. But I've heard rumors that the Dolphins are super interested in Kenny Golladay, and I think he would be interested in it too because it's a young team that plays really hard. And, I mean, look at how they did last year. They almost made the playoffs. Like, they're right there. They're on the verge. I think it makes sense.
And then we go on to our next one. Kind of a surprise. The Pittsburgh Steelers letting go Bud Dupree. Most people thought they were going to franchise tag him. They did not. He is now a free agent. I'm going to say... he winds up in Cleveland and becomes a rival of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I've got him going to Indianapolis as well. I think Indianapolis is actually going to make a pretty big splash in free agency this offseason. So I see them getting Bud Dupree to anchor down that core on the defense. And I think Indianapolis, as long as Carson Wentz comes to play, I think they're going to be a real team coming out of nowhere kind of. Well, not really out of nowhere. But, I mean, they did lose Rivers. I think they're going to be a good team next year.
Yeah. Carson Wentz.
Well, like I said, it depends on how Carson Wentz plays. And even if he doesn't play well, you do get to see Jacob Eason and maybe see what he can do. So, you've always got that fallback card.
Carson Wentz. Anyway, we move on to the best running back, maybe the best overall offensive player in this class, Aaron Jones. Looks like he's done with the Packers. Looks like they're going to A.J. Dillon as their future. I see Aaron Jones going. It's been rumored for a while. I think it's going to happen. The Miami Dolphins. The Fish will sign Aaron Jones. That's their running back they need.
I actually think that Green Bay might actually make a deal for him. I have him going back to Green Bay. I think they're going to try to have that. I'm not saying they're 100% going to get him, but I think they're going to try to have that two-headed monster at running back where you can switch them in and out, and it makes a lot of sense. Because they are two kind of similar running backs, but I think AJ, I don't know. I can't even say that he's a better receiver because Aaron Jones did really well as a receiving back. So, I don't know. I think I see him maybe getting re-signed back to Green Bay.
All right. They got a lot of money that they're going to have to dish out to people. Let's move on to Juju Smith-Schuster. There was a rumor a few weeks ago that he wanted to go to a big city to get his brand out. Big TikTok guy in Juju. With that said, I see Juju going to a team like the Jets.
I've got Juju going down to Arizona with Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. I think that's going to end up being a phenomenal offense if he does choose to go down there, if they do pursue him and they're able to come to an agreement with him. I think that'll be something to see down there in Arizona.
They're going to focus too much on TikTok, and they're going to start 13-0 and then just fall apart if they sign Choo-Choo. Anyway, on to Will Fuller. It's been linked him going to Green Bay for a while, and I think Will Fuller is going to end up in Green Bay. Devonta Adams and Will Fuller, what a duo that'll be to maybe get them over the top into the Super Bowl.
I see another duo in a different location with a young quarterback who is Joey B. I see him going to Cincinnati with T. Higgins and then really kind of taking over.
And then maybe drafting somebody like Jamar Chase.
If that happened, that would be a killer offense too.
You know, Jamar Chase, former, let's say tag team partner, teammate of Joe Burrow at LSU when they went on to win a national championship with Justin Jefferson and all those guys. Next one on the list, Curtis Samuel. I don't think Carolina's re-signing him.
No.
And I had this theory now that the Detroit Lions let go of Galladay, and they're going to bring in two good receivers. Curtis Samuel, and I'll tell you that other one here in a minute.
I actually think we're going to continue to see this trend that's been happening with the Washington football team and the Carolina Panthers, where Carolina Panthers players that end up not getting re-signed always end up joining the old football coach Ron Rivera with the Washington football team, and I think we'll see that again here with Curtis Samuel.
And then we'll go on to the next one that I said the Lions would sign, and their three receiver crew is going to be Curtis Samuel, Terrell Williams, and this man right here, Corey Davis. Corey Davis is going to end up a Lion.
I have Corey Davis going to New England and being the number one receiver that they need because they don't have a true number one receiver. I mean, who was their best receiver last year? It was Neil Harry. Was that it? I don't know.
Edelman for a few weeks, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, that didn't last long. So, I mean, I don't know. I see Corey Davis going up there and maybe New England making a savvy run at a quarterback maybe in the second, third round. I don't know.
On to the next name, Hunter Henry. Really surprised that the Chargers let him go. Looks like they're going with Donald Parham at tight end, XFL legend, who took a lot of snaps here at the end of the season. Hunter Henry, I see him going to the Seattle Seahawks.
I've got Henry going back to the Chargers.
Oh.
I think they're going to pursue him. I don't think your XFL legend is
that was anticlimactic.
He's going to come through. I could have said the Panthers because they need a tight end upgrade, but I don't think they're actually going to venture there. I think they'll go in the draft.
There's some other names we're skipping over on. Let's go to Richard Sherman. I think he's going to follow his former defensive coordinator, Saleh, all the way to the Jets.
I got him going to the Denver Broncos.
This just seems like a place where cornerbacks go to end their career.
Well, I mean, he's about ready to ride off into the sunset.
And for fun, let's skip William Jackson. Let's skip Clowney. Let's go for fun, Jameis Winston. There's several places he could probably get a job or fight for one. I think that famous Jameis is going to go... I know you're waiting on me.
Yeah.
And I'm still thinking, because I changed my mind.
I mean, you want me to go ahead and say who
Go
I
ahead.
think? I think he's going to end up with the New England Patriots. I think they'll sign him to a contract similar to what they did for Cam Newton and see how he works out.
See, that's the obvious one. He's going to be a Houston Texan after Watson gets traded. Jameis Winston's going to Houston. And they're going to build that franchise around famous Jameis. And they're going to be pretty good. Okay, not really good, but maybe like 8 years down the road when he's not with the team anymore. Because anyway, we'll go to our next segment. The NCAA conference tournaments are this week. And we will start off with the America East. As that was not bracket form like I thought.
No.
And they are actually into the championship game already. And let's just skip that. Let's just do the big conferences.
All right, that makes sense.
The American Athletic, I think that is. This is not. How come nobody posts brackets anymore? There we go. All right, so the bracket for the AEC. They still do not have any teams on this thing.
Oh my goodness. Well, there's game 1, Temple and USF.
I like how it says bracket, but no bracket pops up.
What about the ACC? Oh my goodness.
Conference tournament brackets.
Which one?
Down there at ESPN.
Okay. No, do you want to go over?
Yeah, teams over mid-majors that had won over the weekend. The Liberty Flames, Morehead State, getting Morehead, Winthrop, Loyola, Chicago Ramblers, App State rolled off a few wins to get in. UNC Greensboro,
North Carolina coming on strong.
And these are the tournaments going on. Colonial Horizontal.
Horizon. So where do you want to check out?
Start at the top. Let's just go down the line. If these brackets pop up, it'll be easy.
Okay.
All right. So the CAA, we're gonna have fun with this. We're gonna see who does the best this week. Ryan's missing out. CAA. Your prediction?
Let's go Hofstra.
Hofstra. Who will win this week with the most predictions right? I'll take Charleston. I'll take the College of Charleston.
I believe they're already out, Logan.
I was not picking them. I can't even pick James Madison. They lost. Elon. They're close to us. North Carolina's on a streak.
All right.
Just bring it up as a new tab so you don't got to scroll down every time.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay, so Horizon.
And who you got?
Well, it's between Cleveland State and Oakland, it looks like. So I'm going to go Oakland.
I'll take Oakland as well. They're known for kind of rolling off and getting in there. So, kind of anticlimactic.
And we got the Northeast Conference. Wow.
And we're straight in the finals.
What a barn burner. It looked like there was 2 games.
Mount St. Mary's or Kobe Bryant. I'm taking Mount St. Mary's.
I'm going to take St. Mary's as well.
What was that, the NEC?
Yeah. The Northeast Conference. Now we've got the Summit. Down between Oral Roberts and North Dakota State. I'm going to take Oral Roberts. The Eagles.
I'll take the Bison, North Dakota State. You take Oral, I'll take Dakota.
All right, now we're in the West Coast Conference. Oh, okay. You think somebody will rattle off an upset here against Gonzaga?
There's some teams that could. I'm going to take Gonzaga runs it and loses in the tourney.
I'm going to go on a ledge and say Pepperdine.
Oh, it's a big
wedge.
'Cause you could be down a game just like that.
Yeah. I feel good about Oral Roberts, though, so I think I can.
The America East.
Oh, looks like no games have been played here, so this is wide open.
UMBC. That's the team that knocked off Virginia. They're getting back to the tourney.
Yeah, I'll take UMBC as well. Okay.
MEAC.
So it looks like this is wide open as well.
What do they do? Like I played a 6-team tourney?
Yeah, it looks like. I'm going to go North Carolina A&T.
I'm going to take Florida A&M. Who'd I pick?
Florida A&M. Florida A&M. Now we got the MAC. MAAC.
When in doubt, pick Bowling Green. When in doubt, Bowling Green's not in it.
Okay.
Oh, this is not the MAC. This is
this
MAC.
is the
MAC.
MAAC.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, these don't look like anything.
I feel like there are games down here that I cannot see.
Okay. Well, just pick a team, any team. I'll take Viagra. Niagara.
I'm gonna take Siena.
Cena.
Yeah.
Do 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 do.
Okay, now we've got the Big 12.
Getting to the big ones.
All right. Ooh. I'm going to go Kansas here.
I actually was going to take Kansas as well.
Now we got the SWAC. SWAC. Wide open here, too. I'm going to go old school, Texas Southern.
Jackson State.
Big East.
Not your mom was Big East.
I'm going to go Villanova.
Yeah, I'll take Villanova.
Now we've got the actual MAC, the MAC.
When in doubt, go Bowling Green.
It does not have the team names on here.
When in doubt, go Bowling Green.
Yeah, just put Bowling Green down.
We'll both pick Bowling Green. They may not even be in the thing.
We got Big Sky next. In the Big Sky, I'm going to take Weber State.
I will take Eastern Washington.
Now we've got the ACC.
This is interesting. Feels like it's up for grabs this year. I'm taking...
It's going to be really loud on the mic.
Oh, sorry, guys. Interesting. I'm going to break this down a little bit. I see UNC knocking off Virginia Tech. I see Louisville losing to Florida State. I see UNC beating Florida State to get to the finals. I see UVA winning this thing over Carolina in the finals.
I'm going to go Florida State. Conference USA.
Western Kentucky has that big red mascot from a long time ago. I'll take them.
I'm going to go UAB.
I remember one shining moment he was flying across the floor.
Now we've got the Southland.
Taking Sam Houston.
I'm going to take Northwestern State. Mountain West. I'm going to go Utah State.
Taking San Diego State.
Now we got the WAC. Whoa. That is not the whack I know.
Did not know they added Grand Canyon University. Yeah, let's go Grand Canyon, baby.
I'm going to go New Mexico State.
Unbelievable. That'd be crazy if Grand Canyon got in. I remember them as an internet college. Who'd you take, San Jose?
No, New Mexico State. Pac-12. I'm going to go Colorado.
Going safe with Oregon.
Big West. UC Irvine.
I'll take Santa Barbara.
Now we've got the Patriot Conference. And they are in their semifinals. I'm going to take Bucknell. Big Bucknell fan.
I'll take Army.
Now we've got the Atlantic 10. And they are in their finals. It's VCU versus St. Bonaventure.
VCU.
I'm going to take Virginia Commonwealth as well. Then we've got the SEC. I'm going to go Alabama.
I'll take Arkansas.
We've got the American Conference. And here, I'm going to go Houston.
Memphis.
Then last but not least, the Big Ten.
Probably the best tournament this year. They seem like they had the best conference.
I'm going to go Illinois.
I'll take the team said was going to win the national title. They had a little letdown against Michigan State. They're going to bounce back. They're going to win the Big Ten. Michigan. Who'd you say?
Illinois.
And that is it. We will calculate that and come back to you next week with who we got when we go over our big March Madness breakdown. Next week we'll have our brackets filled out and we'll go by. We'll actually have up on the screen, we'll create a league of brackets between me, Kyle, and Ryan. And we will show you who we got. See who pans out with the best bracket. On to our next segment. Crazy night on Saturday night with the UFC.
Yeah, the UFC 259 was a really fun card to watch. Even like for a casual, I think it was probably the most loaded card that they've had in a long time. So in the first fight of the night, Trevin Jones ended up catching Mario Batista in the second round, 47 seconds in. It was a beautiful knockout. He's really come on strong. It sucks that he lost his first, or got a no contest in his first fight after knocking out somebody that was supposedly way further ahead than him stylistically. Urosh Medic ended up knocking out Alon Cruz very violently. That guy's something serious. I would keep my eye out on him. I do think that fight should have been stopped a little sooner than it was. Amanda Lemos really just took it to Souza. It was not a close fight at all, really. Souza tried to get her in a heel hook, and Lemos just sat on it, turned around, and beat the hell out of her. Welterweight here, Sean Brady ended up getting a submission late into the third round, but I thought this fight was going to be super competitive, and it actually ended up being a domination by Sean Brady on the ground, but Jake Matthews was getting the better of him on the feet, which I thought was surprising because I thought Sean Brady was more well-versed on the feet. Here, Carlos Oldberg actually trains with Israel Adesanya and Kai Kara France, who are also on this card. And he ended up opening really strong, but he gassed himself out. I believe he threw 86 significant strikes in the first round, which is insane. But somehow, Nchukwu ended up pushing through it and ended up catching him and knocking him out with a clean right. So, congrats to Nchukwu there. I definitely had no faith in him at all, and he proved me wrong. I thought Jordan Espinosa was going to be a little slicker than Tim Elliott, ended up beating him, but no, the old rascal Tim Elliott, he got a hold of him, and he started saying some not so nice things to Jordan Espinosa while he was on the ground. So, yeah, don't make Tim Elliott mad. He'll just wrestle you, and then he'll talk, and he will pour his blood all over your face. That was disgusting. Kai Kara-France actually ended up in a horrible position. Looked like he was going to get choked out in the first round. Got back up to his feet and ended up knocking out Bontarine. But they didn't know that he thought the fight was over. He ran off and came back in and almost hammer-fisted him after the fight was over. And Bontarine got a little upset and threw his mouthpiece at Kai Kara-France, but that was all laid to rest. Kai Kara-France got a beautiful end of the first round knockout. That's a spectacular win for him. Askar Askarov ended up wrestling his way to a decision over Joseph Benavidez. I thought Joseph Benavidez would have put up a little bit better fight being a veteran, like he is a savvy vet. He's normally very good at wrestling. He's normally pretty good in the stand-up, but he really had no openings. Kyler Phillips and Song Yadong was a very good fight. Kyler Phillips really showed off his prowess, and he's got some nice moves for a younger dude in there. But Song Yadong isn't anything to scoff at either. These two guys are going to be really fun up-and-comers in the bantamweight division. They're going to be fun to watch for a long time. I could almost see a Dominic Cruz, Uriah Faber type thing coming out of them where they have like rematches over and over again. Speaking of Dominic Cruz got a decision win over Casey Kenny and then ended up calling out an executive of Monster Energy for a charity fight. So that was Hans Molenkamp, if you want to look it up. He called him out. It was very interesting. It was kind of weird. To open the main card, we had a light heavyweight battle between Alexander Rakic and Thiago Santos. This fight was a little lackluster. Alexander Rakic got the win, but it really wasn't fireworks like I thought it was going to be. Islam Makhachev dominated Drew Dober, and ended up getting a third-round submission. I thought Dober was going to be able to hold his own a little bit more, but Islam Makhachev really proved that he is the next Khabib in a sense, but I actually think he's a little better because he's got a little better natural stand-up, and his wrestling is something else. He got some trips on Dober I did not think he would be able to get. This one was super controversial here. Aljamain Sterling had a good first and second round, started to fade in the third. Peter Yan started beating him up very bad in the third and fourth. And pretty much what happened was Sterling was tired and kind of just biding his time on his knee. The ref, Mark Smith, said it's a downed opponent. And about 3 seconds later, Peter Yan kind of pulled Sterling's head down and did an illegal knee. And Aljamain Sterling was not able to continue fighting. But because it was labeled an intentional knee, Aljamain Sterling actually ended up winning the fight rather than it being a no contest, and Aljamain Sterling is now our new bantamweight champion. A lot of people are upset with how the outcome of this fight went, but at the end of the day, the way I look at it is Peter Yan did what he did knowing he wasn't supposed to do it. Aljamain Sterling was losing the fight, but technically the rules did what they were meant to do. So maybe they should look at a rule change or something, but as far as it stands, Aljamain Sterling's a champion. They're going to run that fight back, and we'll see how it goes from there. Amanda Nunes only needed 2 minutes, probably not even that, to finish Megan Anderson. Wasn't much of a contest. Amanda Nunes is just something else.
Yep.
And Jan Blachowicz and Israel Adesanya, it was a good stand-up fight for the first 3 rounds, and then the fourth and the fifth, I think Jan could have gotten 10-8s. He ended up getting a unanimous decision. I really think it was the wrestling. If it would have been a stand-up affair the whole fight, Israel Adesanya would have stood more of a chance, but Jan played it smart. He did what he had to do to win, and he got his first title defense against an amazing fighter in Israel Adesanya, so he's really starting to cement his legacy in the light heavyweight division. So that's interesting to see. He said he's going to fight Glover Teixeira next, so that'll be a fun fight to watch.
Did Israel Harrington,
Yeah.
Did Israel and Donajay just tire out?
No, he wasn't tired. He just got laid on. Jan Blachowicz was just so much bigger than him because Jan Blachowicz has to cut weight to get to 205. Israel Adesanya naturally didn't have to cut weight, and he ended up weighing in at 200 pounds. So going into the fight, Jan probably weighed about 230, so it was just too much weight on him. He couldn't get up over and over
Israel
again.
Harrington's actually somebody that I know, and I just botched that. On to Sunday's race at NASCAR, live from Las Vegas. Kyle Larson.
Had him on DraftKings.
His back, baby. Big win with the Hendricks, number 5. I tell you what, Richard Hendricks Racing has it going here to start the season. They won this week. Last week they won with William Byron. They look strong.
Byron had a good run at the start of the race, too. He was flying around the track.
He was.
He ended up taking the lead from Harvick, I think, before the end of the first lap. And then he held it for a long time. Harvick, what happened?
I don't know what's going on with Harvick. Richard Childress Racing cannot figure it out this year. They're just not running well at all.
20th.
Harvick didn't run well. Cole Custer, I think, didn't
Cole
run well.
Custer didn't do very well.
With Richard Childress. A bunch of the Childress cars just had issues. Almirola. Right now, it's looking like Penske, Rick Hendrick, and Joe Gibbs are your cars right now that seem to be the ones that are running well. Eric Jones and that not very good equipment with Richard Petty Racing has finished in the top 15 the last 2 races. Eric Jones looking strong with hardly no equipment. And then we saw Michael McDowell. He's still finishing in the top 20.
Yeah. He fell off a little bit, but
Still staying consistent.
you can't be in the top 10 every week.
And this upcoming week, they are going to Phoenix. And the best Phoenix racer probably of all time is Kevin Harvick. But Kevin Harvick has had so many issues as of late. Do any of us dare to take Kevin Harvick here in our predictions for this upcoming race this weekend? I'm going to go. Kyle Larson's going to win back-to-back. He looks good. I think he's going to win this week in Phoenix.
I'm going to go Brad Keselowski. I think Keselowski will win. I know Ryan took him last week.
I did.
I think.
That was me.
Was it you?
Yeah.
Okay. I took Logano.
Ryan took Busch.
Oh, okay.
So none of us have got a winner yet. I picked, before we started the podcast during Daytona, I took Michael McDowell as my sleeper to win. He ended up winning, but it doesn't count. So who'd you take? Keselowski.
I took Keselowski.
God. So we'll come back with a recap of that next week. And that is just about it. We're going to go into this day in sports. Also, UFC fight. Before we get to that, I forgot to add UFC Fight Night coming up this week. Be sure to tune in to Stand and Bang as they break down your DFS picks and break down the card. I think it might just be Kyle this week.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
On this today in sports, and it's actually a very small list this week. I guess not much happened March 9th. 1859, the National Association of Basketball players adopted the rule that limited the size of bats to no more than 2.5 inches in diameter. In 1929, Eric Krenz became the first athlete to toss the discus over 160 feet. In 1958, George Yardley of the Detroit Pistons became the first NBA player to score 2,000 points in a season. He did it in 72 games. In 1980, Gordie Howe and his 2 sons skated on a line together for the Hartford Whalers. NHL history was made when the event occurred about midway through the game against the Boston Bruins. Bring back the Hartford Whalers. 1984, Tim Witherspoon won a 12-round decision over Greg Payne to claim the World Boxing Council Heavyweight Championship. Shout out Tim Witherspoon. And today's sports quote of the week is the same thing that was there last week. Today I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of this earth. Lou Gehrig. Will that quote be the same next week? Stay tuned. And then, what are you looking forward to? Mine is probably conference tournaments this week in the Phoenix race down in Phoenix for NASCAR.
I would probably say the conference tournaments for NCAA basketball as well, just because I don't necessarily watch college basketball a whole lot, but when it starts revving up for March Madness, I get really excited about it just because March Madness has that feel to it. We didn't have it last year. I'm super excited to have it back.
And who's your favorite athlete this week?
I'm going to go Tony Hawk.
Why?
Just pro skater, man. Tony Hawk 3.
My favorite athlete is Nick Gage, returning from injury to get his title shot for the GCW World title down in Tampa that I'll be attending. Nick Gage versus RSP Ricky Shade Page for the GCW title at Joey Janela Spring Break in Tampa. I'll be there live, risking my life, trying not to get COVID with thousands of other people. Can't wait. And this has been this week's String Bros Sports Talk. We'll see you next week. Be sure to catch Stand and Bang later this week on the channel. Please like the page, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next week.
Take it easy.